I'm playing Frostpunk 2 and I've been having a interesting time to say the least. 11-Bit Studios is back in there. Well, they're getting the 9 from me of Frostpunk 2. I'm a huge city builder fan. I love these genres. I'm able to sit there and focus in on what 11-Bit has created in the past, and now went on to with Frostpunk 2 is another interesting twist on the genre of the city builder aspect. We're not going in there to build a church and then build a grave when everybody dies, and then a hospital, and then you need to bring in your farming equipment and all that kind of stuff. You're actually building out zones in a post-apocalyptic frozen wasteland. That's the catch. It's frozen, called Frostpunk, right? Set in this Steam era kind of setting. It kind of reminds me of Arcane's Dunwall City, if you've ever played any of the Dishonored series, in a frozen atmosphere. So now we need to strive for resources. Manage your colony is really kind of what it comes down to. How do you work with factions so that your townspeople don't turn against you? Are you able to become the leader they're looking for? This game will definitely pull at some of your heartstrings. It is a tough game. I love how it plays out. It's pretty cool how everything goes. Some of the dynamic I ran into was starvation is a huge aspect in this game. You got to go out and gather resources, learn the tools of the trade to upgrade. How do you manage some of these things? And at one point I reached, well, the grandparents weren't going to let their grandkids starve, so they are going to leave. I can decide to go, okay, yes, I can vote them in that scenario and say, okay, see you later. Or do I go out and start gathering more resources so I can keep the grandparents together? Because what happens if you let the grandparents go? Well, all of a sudden now the grandkids get into this conversation with you and they're like, hey, my grandma's never coming back. Oh, that hurts. Some of these moments play out throughout this game, and it's the personal touches that 11-Bit Studios have brought in to make you feel, okay, these people are important. That's the biggest takeaway when you're learning the game. They have the campaign mode, and then they have the Utopia mode. The Utopia Builder is this sandbox mode that allows you to go out and build your thriving city after you play the campaign and learnt the ropes of how all the mechanics work, so that you don't have to worry about maybe some of these heartstrings that you're going to pull on when it comes to playing and talking to these people, because you're managing factions. The society itself is growing. Well, I need resources over here, but we're running low on heat. Do we put the people into overtime, right? Do we need them to go and work harder? We scale back some of the resources. The colony sim aspect really plays more on how I experienced the game than it really did when it comes to the city building aspect itself. They're definitely going out there and you're foraging for resources, looking for that heat, and then you get into this little area, but you're not done there. You can send people out on expeditions who work with the foragers, or you work for the mechanics themselves, and there's just this dynamic that plays so well that every little bit feels like it's methodically, so that you can dig deeper. The depth of Frostpunk 2 is absolutely incredible. Frostpunk 2 has been one of the highlights of this year so far. It's been hitting on all cylinders. I think that's the biggest thing, is you get the dynamic of the factions. How do they weigh in? You becoming the leader now as the captain's passed away. You take over, you take charge. Can you lead them to a better future in this frozen wasteland that is brutal to survive? Playing off the factions and the dynamic of the characters themselves, and then you get into the whispers and the audio in the background of the city people below you, we'll say, chirping away. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're happy that things are going in the direction they want. Everybody's moving along, and then other times things aren't going so well at all. Can you pull that off? You go out in expeditions, look for more resources. How do you upgrade some of these things? The skill tree is definitely cool. The tutorial could have been implemented a lot better, I think, within the campaign. That's why the campaign is there, to teach you the ropes before you get into the Utopia Builder. I honestly felt like I could have had the old school manuals from back in the day. That's where I thought the tutorial looked like. I just felt I'm flipping through a book. If it would have been tossed in and walked through as you played, I think it would have been a little bit easier to see and understand. And it kind of help you pick up a little bit quicker on how to do some of these dynamic features, things that help you grow so that you aren't getting tossed out because you're not getting the votes, because you've ticked off the wrong people, or you've chosen the wrong thing and you haven't got the right resources. That's what the tutorial is there for, to help you move through this. Even on the easy difficulty setting, it can still be challenging. I think the game itself looks cool. I think it looks incredible. The way the snow drifts across the surface. And then you have to go out and gather up resources, like I say, It has been one of the highlights of the year. If you are into the city building colony sim genre, this is a must play.